We have more
because of my calendar.
similar triangles with similar triangles. These are not proofs. You'll be happy about that. We have the triangle proportionality theorem. Are you ready? This is in your Postula book or in your little your theorem sheet. I would suggest that if you don't have your Postula book, that you draw them next to it on your term sheet. If you would.
Is the theorem?
Are these gonna be on the video?
It'll be on the video.
I'll
Yes.
probably just watch the video and then draw my Postula book when I get home.
It is.
Okay.
Wait.
You wouldn't want to do it twice.
Is it an actual
Yeah.
theorem?
Okay.
Like, is it one that says
Yes.
blah 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 of
Yes.
the
Yes.
something theorem?
If a
Triangle
line
proportionality theorem.
Oh, I thought that was like
parallel to
right
one
side.
side of a triangle intersects the other two sides, then it divides it proportionally. You're going to draw this in your Postula book.
Ooh.
I've got a triangle here. It's parallel. Last time we had a parallel thing, it was parallel when it cut it in half, but it's not necessarily cutting it in half. It's just parallel.
We only need to draw one, right?
If it's parallel, then it cuts it proportionally. Let's look at this in a minute. You'll see how it cuts it, how you can write your proportion. You can put letters on it if you want. You don't have to.
I'm not going to.
I personally like to do it like this. Are you ready? I like to put a little A, a little B, a little C, and a little D.
Oh,
Or
I'm still looking this
P, Q, R, and S. I don't care what letters you pick. It doesn't really matter.
I'm a perfectionist. I can't help it.
So am I. I just get over myself.
I can't do that. It hasn't happened.
Then, when I'm writing my proportion, instead of you having to write so many letters, I will say P over R, equals Q over S. The little pieces, it cuts it into the pieces, and those pieces are proportional. Okay?
Oh, so you just did it without having to do like the
All the
AY.
AY,
Yeah,
and
okay,
yes,
so
I like those better when I'm writing mine, okay? I want to point something out, that this distance right here is P plus R, okay? You will need that for some of your homework.
Yeah.
Same with this one over here is Q plus S. You're going to need that. It's the little pieces added together, okay?
Wait, do I need to write that?
If you want, but it's not in your Postula book. I wouldn't draw. Don't.
Where would I write it?
Then don't write it. I'll show you what we're going to do. It was just a little advertisement for something we're going to do on your homework, and so you'll just see it. Okay. All right. The converse is true about this. So first we said if they're parallel, then they're proportional. But you can go backwards and state that if they're proportional, then it's parallel. Okay? And you have that already in, you have the converse already there. But it's just the converse is also true.
So is the same picture to be used for the converse?
Yes, and so
No,
you
I'm
don't
just
have to
gonna
draw
draw
another
an
picture. You just
Same.
put a little arrow and say it works also. Okay, so if it's proportional, then it's parallel. If it's parallel, then it's proportional. Converse goes back and forth. Okay? All right, now we have no triangles at all. We have 3 parallel lines. If 3 or more lines are parallel and intersect 2 transversals, how many transversals?
2.
2. Then they cut the transversals into proportional parts. This does actually look kind of like a triangle. Even though,
Holy.
okay. We have,
What?
if they intersect, it eventually will. Okay.
Kind of, yeah, that is kind of a triangle.
Kind of a triangle.
That is a triangle.
Well, it's
Not
one-
just kind of.
It's kind of like 3 separate triangles with extra lines.
Yes. I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Instead of A, B, C, and D, I'm going to use
I got
X,
this.
I'm going to
You
do
after you, Amy.
P,
Thing somewhere
Q,
around here.
R, S, T, U. Notice I'm using lowercase. All right. Now I can just make my proportions like that if you'd like. We have a P over Q and R over S and T over U. Okay, those links, those cut pieces. Okay? You are allowed to put those proportions in your Postula book. You don't have to even put the A, B, C, D, E, F, and so forth if those the lowercase letters are easier for you or to understand and they're faster to write.
A lot faster, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Just a second. I'm wrong.
What?
Huh?
I'm wrong.
No,
No. Because that part doesn't work.
What part is
Just
that?
a second. It's just
Oh, you read the tiny ones. I
A,
went to bit.
B,
Okay.
D, E, B, C. Okay, my bad.
A, B, C, D, E.
Second. Just a second.
Yeah.
You have an eraser. You're going to be okay.
Oh, it was the peak.
It's just that. You have to go where the parallels are, not out there. So it's just,
Yeah.
you can make tons of R, S, and T, U.
Can you make it just a little bit quieter next time?
Sorry.
It was a high pitch.
Yeah, I know, sorry.
Don't worry, I did the same thing.
I scared myself.
I want you to notice down here, this one though, they could take the whole thing. R plus T and S plus U is also proportional to different things. Okay?
Don't change the screen yet.
Okay.
Maybe.
Lowercase t.
Whoa, why'd you put the thing?
Oh, that's true. It's a lower class T. Thank you.
What are the brackets for? Are the braces? Or
Oh, because we
no,
down here notice that they said AC.
Uh-huh.
That means this whole thing here.
Uh-huh.
And they did with DF with the whole thing. So you can make proportions with pieces combined. Okay. We're gonna do some examples with this. All right, last new one. The array and an angle. We're gonna have a triangle here. If array bisects an angle of a triangle, it's already in your Postula book, or it's on your note sheets already. Then it divides the opposite sides into segments whose lengths are proportional to the lengths of the other two sides. Let's translate that. We're going to draw this. I've got two different ones to show you. You don't have to draw both. And I'll actually show you a different way to draw it if you don't want to do all the letters with just these pieces, okay? All right?
Wait, why is there one bigger and one smaller?
I've got just two different examples. Okay?
Yeah, so hard to draw. That's what I was trying to
So I would suggest that for a moment, don't put the A, B, C, D on here, and don't draw your proportion just yet, because I want to show you a simpler version for you to remember, okay? I'll do this for us. Okay, we have a ray that's bisecting, and it's cutting it into two pieces. It's cutting it into little a and little b, okay? And these sides over here are little c and little d. Are you with me so far?
Wait. Yeah, wait.
Okay.
Yes.
My erasing was terrible. It leaves little looks like I want to take it off. Okay. So I'm going to make my proportion over here. A goes with D because they're right next to each other right here. So what do you think is going to go over here? B goes with C. And since B is one of the pieces, like A is one of the pieces, they both go on top. Right? I think that is a simplified version instead of having got A, B, C, D and all those pieces. Okay? All right?
Much better.
Questions? All right, let's do some examples from your homework. Number 1. We says that they're parallel, and if you remember, if they're parallel, it said that it cuts it into proportional pieces. Be really careful. Be really careful. This is question mark here. And how much is this piece right here? How much is that? If the whole thing's 8, and this part is what we're going to call X, how much is that part this part here?
8x.
8 minus X. Are you with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would put it on your paper. Put that as 8 minus X right there. Now we can make our proportions. 1 goes with what?
3. No.
8 minus
8 minus X. And 3 goes with
X.
X. This is why you practiced all those proportions with X's in them. Now you can cross multiply. I'm going to do me a quick favor. Since we're running low on time, I'm going to let you guys do that at home.
Yeah.
What goes with what over what?
6 over
6 over 3.
over is,
X over 5.
okay, let me just verify. Heidi did it differently. She said 6 over x equals 3 over
Oh, no,
5.
it's-
Is that going to be the
it's-
same thing? Yes,
Yeah.
because the 6 and 5 are going to multiply, and the 6 and 5 are going to multiply. And the 3 and the x are
Two.
going to multiply, and the 3 and the x. So, Heidi, you can do it your way.
Just hold up. I did it this
Yes.
You did it the same way?
No, I did
It
it
should be.
different than both.
Oh, whoa. Is yours going to multiply
Yeah,
correctly?
that's what I got, Brett.
Yeah, 6 and 5 is going to multiply, and 3 and x are going to multiply, so you're going to be fine. Okay? All right, we're going to now do number 5. All right, number 5. Now there's going to be some variables. Set this up together. 9 goes with what?
12.
And 3 goes with?
1.1.
1 plus x.
All right, now you guys can solve that one by 28. The 12 goes with the x. Then we're going to move to the next one. Are we ready? We're going to do number 9. Are we ready for 9? I think it's on the other page.
It is on the other page.
You ready, Amy? What did you do to set it up, Amy?
I'm still setting it up at 21 over 12. and
21
5x
over 12.
Minus 2 over 16.
Then you said 5x.
Minus 2 over 16.
I agreed. Do you want to do it together, Amy? What did you get when you did 21 times 16? I don't know what that is in my head.
I'm still gonna,
336.
Is that true, Amy?
3
That's what I got.
Let's do this so fast. I still can't figure it out.
They really know their times tables really well.
Sit. Oh.
Yep, that's what I got.
Cool.
6.
Can I just steal your pencils for a while and then?
No.
Like,
Yeah, I got 6.
Well, I'm just gonna like.
I got 6.
A quick tip on 10. I'm not doing anything on 10 except a quick tip. Are you ready? Right now on 10, this one, whole length right here is 12.
I got 1.5.
And this little one right here is 8. So
Wouldn't
how
it be
much
4?
is that right there?
4.
Yes. So you can write the 4 in for your proportion. That's all I'm doing on 10. Let's go to,
wrong on that one.
let's
Well,
go,
I went and I did 6 instead of doing 10.
let's do 11. New one, we have 11 and 13, and then we will review what we learned and be done. Remember our proportion said that if we had a ray that was bisected, these little pieces are proportional to the sides. So 3 goes with what?
4.
Yes. And then 6 goes with
On your right.
X, and you guys can do that one on your own. Number 13. Last one, we have a ray that bisects it, so that means the pieces go with the side closest to them. So the 2x minus 2 goes with the 12. What goes on top, 4 or 8?
Well, I think I did it different from you. So
4.
my 8.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It would, yeah, you might do it.
Yeah.
Set it up. But since you know the means and extremes can be switched and this reciprocals can be made, you can know that the cross multiply will be the same. Everyone's working independently. I'm not speaking up here, but I am doing the problem. And I think if my inner calculator works, I think that's what the answer should be.
That's what I got.
All right, here we go. These are the things you learned in this one. You learned about parallel lines and triangles. You learned about 3 parallel lines, and you learned about rays bisecting an angle of a triangle, and there are proportional parts for all of those. You drew them in your
I got
postulate
6.
book.
I got 6.
Have fun. Goodbye.